Okay, let's go.
Jazzy Joe's Autograph Adventures.
Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Jazzy Joe's Autograph Adventures, a web series where in every episode I show you 10 different autographs of 10 different legends based on a theme. And once again, before we move on, I'd like to thank you all for all your feedback, all your likes, all your shares, all your views. All this is very, very encouraging for me, and it makes me want to come back again and again and show you more and more autographs. Thank you very much. In this episode, we are going to talk about the top 10 legendary Indian instrumentalists. These are artists whose music you have heard in all the old top hit songs from Bollywood. And they have also come out with some private albums of theirs featuring instrumentals of old hit Hindi songs. And our first legend, whom we're going to start this episode with, is someone who is known as the originator of acid house music. Western media believes him to be the godfather of acid house music because of his electronic music album. And in Indian music also, he is known as the artist who brought electronic music in Hindi songs. I'm talking about the gentleman who gave us 10 ragas to a disco beat. Yes, Chiranjit Singh. Chiranjit Singh was an Indian musician from Mumbai who performed as a session musician, often as a guitarist or synthesizer player in numerous Bollywood soundtrack orchestras from the 1960s to 1980s, working with filmy composers such as Shankar Jaikishan, R.D. Burman, S.D. Burman, and Lakshmikant Pyarelal. Singh led a wedding band and recorded and released a number of albums covering popular film songs. These were a form of instrumental elevator music. Charanjeet Singh gained attention for his 1982 release 10 Ragas to a Disco Beat, an album originally intended as a fusion of electronic disco music with Indian classical ragas. Singh's use of both the TR-808 drum machine and TB-303 bass synthesizer has led some music journalists to suggest that it is perhaps the earliest example of acid house music. I met Charanjeet Singh at a show in Delhi where he had come to Delhi to promote the re-release of his album 10 Ragas to a Disco Beat. It was released in Europe and he toured all over India to promote the album. So one of the cities he performed in was Delhi, and that is where I met him, and I showed him his records and he was very happy to sign them for me. And the record I want to show you is this one. It's called Mood with Kishore Kumar from Charanjeet Singh, where he performs instrumentals of songs by the legendary singer Kishore Kumar. You can see he has signed in the front saying to Joe. Our next artist was also credited for being the first electric guitarist in India. He not only played the guitar and the violin, but also composed music for films and was the first artist to independently release LP albums of instrumental Hindi film hits. I'm talking about the man with the golden guitar, Van Shipley. Born Valentine Van Shipley in Lucknow, India, Van Shipley was a prolific musician who worked in more than 1500 films and was one of the few individual musicians who was mentioned in film credits. He was the first to record instrumental versions of film songs beginning sometime in the early 50s when the success of Barsat brought him to the notice of recording company HMV, who signed him up as an individual instrumentalist. In 1955, Van Shipley teamed up with Enoch Daniels, the accordion player whom he met while at Prabhat Studios, Pune. It was a partnership that would last many, many years. In 1956, along with Talat Mahmood and C.H. Atma, Van Shipley and Enoch Daniels toured British East Africa. They pioneered live stage shows by Indian performers. Van Shipley's first independent record was released in 1962. It was named The Man with the Golden Guitar, a description that would stick to him for the rest of his career. Unfortunately, I could not meet Van Shipley ji because by the time I started collecting autograph records, he was not with us anymore. But I do have him in my record collection, and the record I want to show you is this one. It's called The Magic Violin of Van Shipley. Van Shipley was as good on violin as on guitar. And this album also features top Hindi songs played by him, an instrumental on violin. And you can see the autograph he has signed in the front, and the date is 28th February 1977. Now, Van Shipley's nephew, Valentine Shipley, a great artist in his own right, is a very good friend of mine. So I asked him to tell us a little bit more about Van Shipley, and he sent me this video.
Hello, my name is Valentine Shipley and my friends call me Val, and I happen to be the nephew of the legendary Van Shipley, whose real name was Valentine, and he gave me his name when I was born. I'm his younger brother's son, and it's an honor to carry his legacy of music forward. There are a lot of people who don't know that he was a phenomenal painter, fantastic painter. He designed his own clothes. He created his own instruments. He created the first electric violin. I think it was made of fiberglass in the shape of an anchor, and it had 5 strings, and नीचे जैसे सितार की तरबे होती है, it had the drone strings. And another great thing that that I really loved, he was a phenomenal violin player as well. And not that I'm his nephew, so I'm biased, but I've heard many violin players. But to still see and hear somebody with that finesse, murkhia jinko kehte hain, those nuances, they were so beautiful. And thanks to Jazzy for putting this whole thing together. It's an amazing how he's covering all these artists and keeping the music alive. Thank you, Jazzy. Love you. God bless you.
Wow, what a great video. Thanks a lot, Valentine. Thanks a lot, and keep rocking like you do. You are carrying Van Shipley's legacy forward into the world. All the best to you, and once again, thank you. And now we have an artist who is well known and much respected in Bollywood for nearly 6 decades now. He is well known for being an arranger and a composer, and for the rendition of his instrumental film tunes on the piano accordion. I am talking about my favorite instrumentalist, Enoch Daniels. Enoch Daniels, fondly known as Danny, got his first break when he performed with the Hawaiian guitarist Van Shipley in 1955, with whom he performed scores of shows countrywide as well as internationally. Live performances kept Enoch busy through most of the 60s and 70s. After a very successful tour of East Africa in 1957, Columbia Records signed Enoch as a solo artist. He recorded several instrumental albums including 40 singles, 15 extended play records and 18 long play records, some of which are available today on CD and audio tapes. Besides his performing career, Enoch has been a busy arranger and sessions musician in the film industry in Mumbai. Since 1963, he has worked as an arranger for background and film scores. Among his noteworthy films are Kabhi Kabhi, Trishul, Choti Si Baat, Pinjara, and the entire re-recording in stereo of the classic V. Shantaram film Jhanak Jhanak Payal Baje. He continues to perform periodically and undertakes studio assignments as and when they arise. I met Enoch Daniels ji quite a few times In fact, I remember I used to travel to Pune just to meet him. I was so fond of him. Just to meet him, I used to travel from Delhi to Pune and get the records autographed. He used to be very happy to see me, and he used to sign all the records. And the last time I met him was in Delhi. He came for a show to Delhi, and I met him again, and that's where I got this record autographed. This is the record I want to show you. One of his early albums. Great Accordion Hits by Enoch Daniels. It has 12 wonderful, wonderful tracks, old film hits, and as you can see, he has signed at the back saying, "With all my good wishes." Our next artist was a Parsi musician who contributed very, very richly to Mumbai and Bengali film industries. He was very well known for his versatility with many instruments, including the piano, univox, sitar, and many more. I am talking about the great artist V. Balsara. Vistas Artashil Balsara, also known as V. Balsara in the music world, was born in Bombay to a Gujarati-speaking Parsi Zoroastrian family. From the childhood, he was interested towards Western music. His first childhood teacher was his mother, who taught him harmonium. At the age of 6, he gave his first public performance at CJ Hall in Mumbai, where he played the pedal harmonium. 10 years later, he had mastery over 5 musical instruments, including piano, which he learned from a German musician. V. Balsara was probably one of the greatest exponents of Rabindra Sangeet from the yesteryears, and he became a famous instrumentalist, orchestra conductor, a music teacher, and the music director of non-filmy songs and a few Bengali films during the rest of his life. Once again, I could not meet V. Balsara ji, but I do have him in my autograph records collection, and this is the record on which I have his autograph. 12 hits of RK. That means RK Studio Movies. Once again, there are 12 hits from the RK Studio, their movies, different movies, and he has performed all these songs on various instruments like the univox, harmonium, accordion, organ, and you can see his autographs, very unique autographs, the way he made the V and the B, and he wrote the rest of Balsara, and he's written the date to 12th May 1982. And next, we have an Indian jazz musician who is known as one of the greatest saxophone players in India and is considered as one of the greatest contemporary jazz musicians to come out of Goa. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Braz Gonzalez. Braz Gonzalez received his musical education first in the church choir and on the violin. He still learned classical Indian music, but also heard recordings by R.T. Shaw. He first worked as an entertainment musician before becoming one of the pioneers of Indo-jazz rock and recording the album Raga Rock in Calcutta in 1970. The Indian government sent him to numerous international jazz festivals. Over the years, he has performed with Eddie Daniels, Sadao Watanbi, or Paul Gonzalez, and also with Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan, Zakir Hussain, Trilok Gurtu, Hari Prasad Chaurasia, Shankar Mahadevan, and Shivamani. In 1980-81, he went on a world tour with the Jazz Yatra Sextet around Louis Banks. As a studio musician, he was involved in numerous recordings of albums and soundtracks. And I was lucky enough to meet Braz Gonzalez on a trip to Goa. I had gone there with my DJ friends, and I luckily got the opportunity to meet the saxophonist, the great legend himself, and it was great to meet him. He was so excited on seeing his records, and I had taken a record which had just been released in Europe on Braz Gonzalez. That was his album Deva Priya, and this is the record. It's a 10-inch record As I said, it's the album Deva Priya. It's got 8 tracks and a wonderful cover, beautiful cover with lots of information about him. And you can see I got it signed in golden pen. Our next instrumentalist had music as a hobby until he went to Bombay in 1967. He toured with many starlets of Bollywood all around the world. I'm talking about Sammy Rubin. Sammy Rubin was another multi-instrumentalist on accordion and keyboards who worked mostly as an independent solo artist, but who got his initial kickstart in the film industry. Raised and educated in Pune, Rubin, like so many other youngsters, headed to Bombay with big dreams. As luck would have it, he developed a friendship with a down-and-out Geeta Dutt, serving the lady as a confidant. When an opportunity came for her to sing once more in the 1971 Sanjeev Kumar film Anubhav, she made sure Sammy played the keyboards. Rubin went on to issue a few records under his own name, a tribute to Mukesh, one to Rafi, and more records of film instrumentals. I met Sammy Rubin ji at his home in Mumbai, and it was great to meet him. He welcomed me with open arms, and especially when he saw the records, he was overjoyed and he autographed all of them. And the record I want to show you is this one. This is an instrumental tribute to Mukesh by Sammy Rubin ji on the electric organ. 10 super hit songs of Mukesh from the Hindi movies, and you can see in the front Sammy ji has autographed the record. Our next instrumentalist began with the Hawaiian guitar in 1976 and then moved on to arranging, composing, and now music direction. I'm talking about one of my favorite instrumentalists, Gotham Dasgupta. Gotham Dasgupta's musical journey began in 1976 as a distinguished solo instrumentalist both in Hawaiian and Spanish guitars. Over the years, this versatile musician from Delhi has received immense recognition for his talent, which subsequently helped him to become a music director. His first major break came in 1984 when he got an opportunity to work with T-Series. Since then, he has released many records and albums like Lata Hits Instrumental on Hawaiian guitar, Jal, Hit Ghazals, I Am in Love, A Date with You, Teri Chahat, etc. He is now known as Madhur Gotham, a singer in the Indian music industry. I met Gotham ji and his daughter Aprajita at his studio in Noida, and it was wonderful to meet such a great artist and such a humble artist. He showed me his latest albums on CDs and he autographed all the records, and we had a long discussion about music. And the record I want to show you about him is this one. This is Rafi and Lata Divine Melodies on Hawaiian guitar by Gotham Dasgupta ji. You can see it has 8 tracks and lovely photograph on the cover, and he is signed in the front saying to Jazzy Joe with best wishes. Gotham Dasgupta ji came to know that I am making this episode and he sent me this video.
I am Gotham Dasgupta, music director and Hawaiian guitarist. I am also known as the king of version music. I have many albums under T-Series banner and privately produced. Jazzy Joe came in contact and introduced himself as my fan. He came to my recording studio Soundwaves and took my autograph on my LP record. He himself is a music lover and has vast knowledge. He is extremely loving and respectful towards music legends. It was indeed wonderful meeting him.
Thank you so much, sir. Gotham Dasgupta ji, thank you for such a lovely video. Yes, I am your fan. You are one of my favorite instrumentalists. And once again, thank you for a great video. Thank you, sir. Our legendary instrumentalist journey continues with an artist who is not as much known for an instrument as he is for his whistling. Yes, his whistling. He is the instrument. I am talking about an artist who has whistled in over 1500 Bollywood songs. Ladies and gentlemen, Nagesh Surve. Nagesh Surve's whistling became a constant in Bollywood songs, something that we got used to without noticing. Surve has whistled in music tracks for films like Karz, Hero, Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, Satya, Fana, and many more. It all began with the 1975 film Julie, after which Surve got to work with top-notch music directors like Lakshmikant Pyarelal and Shankar Jaikishan to Shankar Ehsaan Loy and Pritam. It's very usual for people to mistake Surve's whistles as a flute. Besides whistling, he has also done the bird calls in Paheli and Krish. He is also a sitarist, a violinist, and he plays the tar shehnai, which is a unique instrument from Kolkata. He also does music direction, and when it comes to music direction, he is known as Rishi Raj. Luckily, I got to meet Nagesh Surveji at his home in Mumbai, and it was great to meet the legend, and he was very happy to see his LP records, and he autographed all of them. And the record I want to show you is his first movie, that is Julie. I'm sure most of my Hindi viewers would know all the tracks of this great movie, this great soundtrack, and one of the reasons for it being great was the whistling of Nagesh Surveji. You can see he has autographed the record saying "With Love" to Jazzy Joe, Nagesh Surve. Our next instrumentalist is one of the greatest percussion artists of India and is also a composer. He is the son of the great legendary artist Allah Rakha Sahab and also the brother of the legendary artist Zakir Hussain. I am talking about Tawfiq Qureshi. Tawfiq Qureshi is recognized for his path-breaking and trend-setting work as a performing artist and as a composer and arranger in the field of world music. Tawfiq has been ably successful at taking the nuances of traditional rhythms of India to an alternate form of world music and offering it to a large audience comprising of all age groups and from different parts of the world. Tawfiq's performances showcase the traditional flavor and intricacies of Indian rhythm interwoven with the sparkle of his phenomenal command over contemporary world percussions. Tawfiq has pioneered and developed a distinct technique of playing the African percussion instrument djembe in the context of Indian rhythmic compositions. It is solely to Tawfiq's credit that today the djembe is making its presence felt on the music and concert scene in India. He has designed a new language as a bridge to transpose the traditional tabla repertoire onto this non-Indian instrument. His version of the djembe is inspiring a whole new breed of percussionists in India. I got to meet Tawfiq ji thanks to a friend of mine, Vishesh, who is also a percussionist, who holds an annual festival of percussions for artists all over the country, and he had called Tawfiq ji as a chief guest to this festival in Delhi, and Tawfiq ji looked at all my records and he happily autographed all of them, and the record I want to show all of you is this one, Dil Chahta Hai, one of Tawfiq ji's favorite soundtracks. It has 8 wonderful songs, and as you can see, autographs by other artists too. And Tawfiq ji has autographed saying to Jazzy, enjoy the rhythm. And once again, it's time for the last artist for this episode. Last but definitely not the least. Yes, once again, I have saved my favorite artist for the last, one of the greatest percussionists of India. Ladies and gentlemen, Shivamani. Shivamani, commonly known by his stage name Drums Shivamani, is an Indian percussionist who plays many instruments including drums, octoban, darbuka, udukai, ghatam and kanjira. He is affiliated with the Chennai Super Kings team but gained recognition through his role as A.R. Rahman's lead percussionist. He has done world tours with A.R. Rahman and collaborated with him for Bombay Dreams. He has also been a part of a musical group called Shraddha, which comprises Shankar Mahadevan, Hariharan, U. Srinivas and Loy Mendonca. Shivamani has a band called Asia Electric with Niladri Kumar, Louis Banks and Ravichari. He also plays at another world music band named Silk and Shraddha. He has stated that S.P. Balasubramaniam is his godfather and he has played drums for many Hindi films including Roja, Rang De Basanti, Pradesh, Tal, Lagan, Dil Se, Guru, Kabul Express and Rockstar. I have a long history of meeting Shivamani ji at many cities during my shows, during his shows. I bumped into him many times. But my best memory is at a show which was held for Airtel's 10th anniversary in Delhi, where Shivamani ji was part of the lineup and so was I. We were performing together at a show where Shankar Mahadevan ji was there, I was there, and Shivamani ji was also performing. So he asked me that, Jazzy, should we jam together? After my performance, after your performance, can we jam together? I said, yes, that would be a big pleasure for me, you know. But I asked him, I said, what kind of music should I play so that you can jam with me? So he said, any music, play whatever you want to, you know, I'll manage. You know, just what you want to hear from your favorite legendary percussionist. You know, that is what makes him a legend. That he does not care what you play, he will manage, he will go along with it. And I was again lucky enough to meet him again for autographing my records. And he did that happily. And the record I want to show you all is this one of his favorite soundtracks, Lagan. It's a wonderful soundtrack with 8 tracks, and the music is by A.R. Rahman Sahab. And Shivamani ji has signed in the front saying, DJ Joe, rhythm is God, love, Shivamani. And now we come to the end of this episode featuring Legendary Indian Instrumentalists. I hope you enjoyed all the information and the autographs. And if you did, please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel so that I can be encouraged to make more and more videos like this, show you more and more autographs. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for much more. And in case you have any questions, suggestions or feedback, please send it to this email, jazzyautographs@yahoo.com. For my autograph collector friends, happy collecting. And for everyone watching, hope to see you in the next episode with 10 more artists and 10 more autographs from my autograph record collection. Till then, take care and all the best.